I think Atlanta still kind of look at. I mean, if I'm an Atlanta player or Atlanta fan, we should be the world champs. We should be playing them as the world champs. They beat us in the playoffs. They took us out when we were trying to get back to the Super Bowl after we lost. When we know we should never lost to New England Patriots, then they go on and beat the Patriots. We got a little chip on our shoulders with the Philadelphia Eagles, you know, just like the Saints with the Minnesota Vikings. So I think that's a little blood between them two programs right now. So I want to see what they're going to do week one. I think Atlanta going to set the tone. It's going to be a heck of a football game. And if Atlanta do come out with the win, I'm not pulling for them, but if they do come out with the win, they're going to set the tone on for the Eagles for the rest of the year, how people are going to attack them all season long. But you never really know. So, on to the next subject. Top week one matchups in college football this year. I went on here. I only got about 6 matchups that I thought that was pretty decent for week one. Louisville, Bama. I mean, it's really not a good matchup, but Bama's a 24.5 favorite to beat the Louisville Cardinals. Notre Dame versus Michigan. That's actually a good game. Michigan is a 2-point favorite to beat Notre Dame. You know, Brian Kelly is somebody I'm potentially looking at because if Ed, well, you know what? Let me hold on to that one. When I get to LSU, I'm gonna talk about that after a while. Texas and Maryland. I kind of like that matchup as well. It's kind of a good place for Texas to start the year off in Maryland. 10.5 favorite for the Texas Longhorn. Ole Miss and Texas Tech. Texas Tech is a 2.5 favorite to beat the Ole Miss Rebels. Miami and LSU. Miami is a 3-point favorite. Florida State and Virginia Tech. Florida State is a 6-point favorite to beat Virginia Tech. That would be the Monday nighter. LSU would be the Sunday nighter this year. And that would be, like I said, Virginia Tech and Florida State would be the Monday night football game on Labor Day weekend, the closeout Labor Day weekend this year. So on that note, it's that time again. I'll start playing these cuts again. LSU Miami will take place, like I said, on Sunday Night Football in Dallas, Texas. I know I'm very excited to see what's going to happen with that one. Get my predictions, I guess. Biggest thing I want to talk about this game is that it's going to set the tone for the rest of the year. At the end of the day, Miami was still a top 4, top 5 team last season before they lost to Pitt. Miami is on a 3-game losing streak. They lost to Pitt, they lost to Clemson, they lost to Wisconsin. I get that. But at the end of the day, top five football team last season. They was in the hunt for the college football playoffs. LSU found themselves in the coaches poll today. I read they was the 24th ranked team in the country. Miami was the 8th ranked team in the coaches poll. Not a bad if you could come out and physically dominate these cats in Texas. You setting the tone for the rest of the season. Now Joe Burrow, I looked at Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow don't really have a lot of highlights. But I watched the highlight when they played in Nebraska with Ohio State a few years ago, and pretty much how he really do look good for what he does. Now, granted, that was at the end of a game, probably had a lot of backups in, but his skill set is what LSU really needs. Now, if they really letting him be that type of player over there, I don't know. You know, this is always going to be a heavy 2 tight end type team that have 2 running backs in the backfield, run that power stuff. That's what LSU is. That's always where LSU is going to be until they get somebody else. That's what I said about Brian Kelly. If Brian Kelly have a productive year at Notre Dame and LSU start to fall off again, because this is the hardest schedule in the country. They fall off again. You know, sad to say, poor Ed Orgeron, he's already on the hot seat because of the schedule. You got to start making moves, man, because you are taking steps back when you find yourself on the level with Ole Miss, Mississippi State. No disrespect to them programs. Mississippi State, where Florida's at right now, that's not in a good spot. Missouri, when you start putting your name with them other programs, you got to make a move. You got to move around. You LSU, you know, you haven't been to the championship game in 7 years, 7, 8 years. It's time to start thinking about getting back to that spot. It's time to start thinking about we still get something. We still a top 10, top 5 recruiting class program, but we not getting to the championship game. Why? Because we ain't doing what we have to do as coaches to offensively to get what we have. Makes you wonder. So Burrow, now the thing about Burrow is they said Burrow, now remember he was going to go to Cincinnati. Cincinnati did offer him the starting job at quarterback, but Ed Orgeron told him, said, you're going to come here, you're going to come here, you're going to come compete. So he was definitely fine with coming compete for the quarterback spot. They also said that how much progression he is all 4 quarterbacks between McMillan, Noel Narcisse, Miles Brennan, and Burrow are all on the same level. That's bad for the other 3 guys compared to Burrow. Burrow didn't have a spring. He didn't get no snaps for the spring game. The other 3 guys between Narcisse, Brennan, and Justin McMillan, they all had the spring and they still on the same level. So there's no doubt in my mind that Joe Burrow going to be the starting quarterback for the LSU Tigers trotting out week 1. Now maybe Miles Brennan might help him out a little bit because remember Miles Brennan did get some playing time last year from time in to time out. You never know. But I'm going to tell you just like this. I think LSU, granted they are a 3-point underdog in this ball game. I think LSU going to win this game as long as they don't let Miami start getting hype on defense. Defensively, that's what really drives Miami Hurricane football. Once you start letting them pull out that turnover chain, that's when they start to act a fool. If you don't let them get that turnover chain, so you got to force them to beat you other ways, I think we're going to have a great chance to beat the Miami Hurricanes. Now, one thing I want to talk about is Malik Rozier. Now, Rozier, last season, his numbers, it wasn't too bad, but his numbers last season, he threw for 3,120 yards, and he threw for 26 touchdowns and 14 interceptions. He ran for 5 last year with 468 yards. That's not bad. It's game manageable for college football, to be honest with you. That's not too bad, 26 and 14. I mean, I think the interception ratio for the college football world should be probably be down at least by another 7 or 8. At least be at 6 interceptions or 7 interceptions. But see if I think LSU wants to see if he's going to beat them. LSU start getting picks and pick sixes and start forcing turnovers like they normally do. This game's not going to last too long against the Miami Hurricanes at all. Like I said, Miami's on a 3-game losing streak. LSU's on a 1-game losing streak. Earlier this year, they lost to Notre Dame. So, I mean, both teams got something to prove to start their year off on a good note. Last year, last time, no, I lied. That wasn't the last time because they had a neutral site game last year. It's going to be interesting to see what's going to happen week 1 with the LSU Tigers. I'm very excited to see what they're going to do. Because I'm going to put like this is a setup year. If they could just find a way to stay above the schedule, they got to go to Auburn. They should. I think they could go and compete with Auburn. They could find themselves, at least put themselves in a way to win the game with Auburn. Georgia come here. They got to find a way to beat Georgia, Alabama come here. You got to find a way to beat them too, I think the schedule is setting themselves up for success, but it starts day 1. You got to put the confidence in yourself, and you can't be overconfident as well. But if you put the confidence in the program, knowing that we can beat anybody in the country, we're gonna be all right. Week 1 is where it's going to start for the LSU Tigers. I'm very excited to see what they're going to do. I'm going to start covering some of these games coming up real soon. But let's go ahead. Let's end this show today on about your boy, Urban Meyer. I'm going to just call straight up and call it what it is for what it is. Urban Meyer, he blew it. He blew it. And let's go all the way back to Florida. He knew about this domestic abuse. Urban Meyer's in some trouble, man. And I want to know if this is going to affect Ohio State when it comes down to the rankings. Right now, I think Ohio State number 3 team ranked in the coaches poll. I read this morning. They're over Georgia. I want to see if this is going to affect them. I want to see if this is going to affect their play this season on the field, in the Big Ten. Urban Meyer's in some trouble, man. He's in some trouble. I think, hopefully I would love to see the man coach. this season, but man, Urban in some trouble, man. Urban Meyer is in some trouble. It's a shame, bro. Like, it just take these little small things in life that can really just mess up your whole entire career. One decision from you, just like look at Papa Joe Paterno, when he knew and said he knew about some of the things that was going on, and with Penn State, and they had these sanctions under Penn State and everything like that. Just killed his whole career. One decision, one small, it really is not small, but one decision can cost you your whole entire career. That's why I tell you guys, be smart. Even with people out there in the streets, the street corners, people out there killing each other. I'm a black man, and I say to myself, I don't like to see us black brothers kill each other. For the fact of the matter is, we all, at the end of the day, we brothers and sisters in the name of Christ Jesus. And all I'm saying is, it takes one decision that can cost you your whole life, your whole career, your whole family, your wife, husband, daughter, son, parents. That's why don't let the trick of the enemy get inside y'all heads and make you think you over something which you not. Continue to trust God and whatever that you do in your life, because He's the only one that's going to get you through. And so I'm really hoping, because Urban Meyer is a great head coach in college football. He's one of the best in the game. In my opinion, he's probably right behind Nick Saban for what he can do. And I think he's going to get 4 or 5 if he continue to coach a few more years. But he got a bad mistake on his hand. And even when you think about some of the recruits he had over the years, Aaron Hernandez, he had Riley Cooper, who was a racist. Percy Harvin, who was smoking weed. Tim Tebow was the only one that was sane back then for the Florida Gators. He was a Christian, and he still got judged. So he has had some characters in his career. And now when it comes down to the receivers coach, he just attract. I guess they almost look like he attract this bad crowd. But I'm not gonna say that about Urban Meyer. We're just gonna pray for Urban Meyer, and we're gonna just because that can cost his whole career. And you don't want to see that for anybody. That's how he feeds his family. That's how he take care of his children. So we're gonna pray for the best for Herb. On that note, we're gonna be out of here. We're gonna catch y'all next week. Next week we'll be on the NFC North. Talk a little Saints football next week. I gotta see when they play next week. I know they play Jacksonville Jaguars. Gonna be a good game. I'm looking forward to see JT Barrett and Taysom Hill fight it out next week on the offensive side of the ball. And hearing a lot of good things. Boston Scott, Traquan Smith, Marcus Davenport, Michael Floyd, who just recently signed with the Saints, Shane Vereen. The Saints got a lot of people on their team. I want to see if they're gonna make some rise. Tommy Lee Lewis, who'll be making some noise. Ben Tate as well. There's a lot of things I want to see out the Saints playing the Jacksonville Jaguars next week. First preseason game of the year. We're going to catch y'all next week. Probably talk a little about more about LSU and Miami coming up. Probably start looking into maybe look into a few other games as well. Oh, my music went off. I talked too long. And so we're going to catch y'all next week, guys. Love y'all. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. It's Third Down. Subscribe and like, share to everybody. Also, subscribe to Spreaker. Hit me up on Twitter. It's Third Down. I have all that link in the bio. And we'll check y'all out next Thursday. We start getting prepared for the 3-day shows that's coming up when the season do kick off. And we'll see y'all later. Peace.